Today I'm going to be talking about how to make an award-winning short film, and I'm going to use my short film For Her, which is a non-fiction short film, as an example for this, and that can be seen in the description below. My first tip would be to shoot for the edit or shoot with the edit in mind. And when I say this, I mean think of when you're making a shot, do you think, is this going to support the narrative? That's what you need to think. And because we made the mistake of taking loads of cinematic and cool looking shots, but we never used them because the teacher just said that these shots were not really supporting the narrative and didn't have any relevance. So, yeah, don't just get shots that look cinematic or impressive. Just think about how it's going to fit in the story or fit in the edit. My second piece of advice would be to ask advice from teachers and just ask what they think of your early drafts and your early edits, and then keep a notepad and pen or your phone on you just to take some notes, and just so you don't forget, and then immediately take action and do everything they say. If they say this needs to cut earlier, I think you should believe them because these people have been like watching films for years and teaching people about films for years, so they're really knowledgeable and experienced. So take advantage of that and keep asking them for their opinions and advice for your edit. My last piece of advice would be to focus on telling your story with emotion. And I'm going to give an example with my short film For Her, how this could be done completely just in the edit. So my first draft of the short film, it looked like this short film looked like it was about a grocery store, which is not what we wanted. We wanted it to be about people. And if you watch the short film, you'll understand. So the first draft made it look like sort of an advert for the shop, and I didn't want that because there wasn't really an emotional connection there. And to fix this with the second draft, I focused on audio first. So what I did with the podcast we recorded was sorry, not podcast, it was an interview. It was an interview we recorded for this documentary or the short documentary film. And I grabbed a 90-second segment. So I cut up lines that he said and I put it all together. And I thought, how can I turn this into a narrative? So in the end, I made a 90-second like sort of podcast, you can call it, and I gave it to a friend who's never heard of any of this, my film that I'm making, and he listened to it and he understood the story from that, which is what we want. So he didn't need the visuals; he can grasp the story from the audio of it. So I used this audio, and from then I built the visuals from that, which was the correct way to do it because at the start I built the from the visual start. I was really like visually driven, and I hardly had any audio clips to show for it, and the audio didn't really make sense or a narrative. So that's the tip. Just start with the audio first, build the narrative out of the audio, and then build your visuals off of that, and your film will be much better. As in, it will literally win awards because people are emotionally connected to this film, and it's more of a film that has a story to it instead of one that seems like it's just about a shop, which is no one wants to see that. So in the final draft, it ended up being about a couple and a woman with Alzheimer's and the man keeping the shop open even though they're struggling because he's doing it for her, which explains the name. And yeah, he's doing it for her and because it's good for her and stuff like that. So it's making the sacrifices it's about the sacrifices you make for your loved ones. And yeah, that's my final tip. That'll just be so shoot for the edit, ask your teachers for advice, and focus on telling a story with emotion through audio first, visuals later. Okay, that's my advice. Thanks for watching.